welcome back to Love Your Food. This week we have this delicious and simple chili verde recipe, which is based on the salsa verde we made a few weeks ago. Now before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone that we have an affiliate link with Chef's Temp. If you need a kitchen thermometer or meat probe, please check out the link in the description below and use code LOVEYOURFOOD on checkout for 15% off your order. We also have a Patreon if you'd like to support us there. I'll put a link for that as well. But in the meantime, here's our ingredients. So we have some ground pork, some cumin seed, some garlic, some hot peppers, we're using serranos, our salsa verde, and some onion. Now we're also going to be using some cilantro as well as some fresh oregano, and I'll show you that later. So first things first, we're going to be doing our mise en place. We're going to get our garlic chopped pretty finely. We don't want big chunks in there, so we're going to chop that garlic up nice and small. And we're also going to be chopping up the onions pretty small as well. We're just going to get those nicely chopped into small bits. Now there is already onion in the salsa, but we're going to add some fresh onion to cook. We're also going to toast our cumin seeds just a little bit before we grind them, just to add that nice, just wake up the oils up in there, wake up the flavor a little bit. We're also going to slice those peppers as small as we can, really, really finely, and we're going to leave the seeds in. We do want a little bit of heat, but we don't want big chunks of pepper or anything, so we're just going to chop those up really, really small. Now once the cumin seeds smell nice and toasty, we're just going to drop those into our spice grinder and grind that up until it's nice and powdery. And then we're going to add a little bit of oil into our stainless steel skillet here, and then we're going to season our ground pork. Just a little bit of salt and pepper on there to start, and that's going to go in seasoned side down, obviously. And then once that's in, we're going to season the top bit here. You want to make sure that your protein gets some good seasoning before it hits the pan. You want to get it seasoned before it hits the heat. And we're just going to spread that out a little bit to make sure that it gets nice and toasty. Basically, we're just getting some color on this. We want that nice Maillard reaction. We got some nice flavor from a little bit of sear on there. Now, pork is pretty high in moisture, so it's going to get a little, like the fat's going to render out, which is going to help it fry, but also a lot of liquid, a lot of water is going to come out. So you want to make sure you keep frying it as that water comes out. Here you see it's pretty, it's steaming a lot. So you want to cook it down until all that water goes away and you start getting color on it. So there you can see we've let it fry. It is now getting a little bit of color on it and you're getting some fond at the bottom of your pan. So once you get to that stage, we're going to add in our garlic and onions on top of the pork. We're just going to let it cook that way for a little while. And some of the juice from the onions is going to sort of sink into the pork and sort of raise that fond at the bottom. And we're still going to get a little bit of color on that pork. It's going to be really excellent by the time it's done. We're going to add our cumin on top of there. We've ground that. And that's going to just aromatize the whole thing. You've got that beautiful cumin aroma and that amazing flavor. And then we're also going to toss in, and again, this is totally optional, we're just going to toss in a sprig of oregano. And once you start smelling the onions cooking and the garlic cooking, and you see that it's sort of sizzling a little bit, you want to stir it up. And you can see we've got some great color on the pork from the bottom there. The onions have really cooked quite a bit. And you kind of want to go by smell on that one, honestly. Once you're there, you're going to stir it up. We're going to add in our hot peppers that we chopped so finely. If you want this spicier, you can add hotter peppers or more peppers. We're going to add a little bit of the liquid from the salsa just to sort of deglaze the bottom of the pan there. So you're going to get some of those crispy bits off the bottom. And then once you've done that, we're going to add in the rest of that salsa. Now, the tomatillos that we used in this had a lot of pectin in them, so it came quite thick and gelatinous from all the pectin. So if you want to thin it out a little bit and you want to cook it a little bit longer, add a little bit of water like we did there. Also helps you get the rest of that salsa out of the container. And we're just going to simmer this until it's hot all the way through and it's reduced to the sort of the texture and the thickness that we want, which is about here. So you can see here we've got that beautiful color on the pork. Everything's up in the bottom of the pan and it's all cooked together. Now we're just going to serve this on a little bit of rice. And you can use leftover rice, you can use fresh rice, whatever you prefer. And you can see the beautiful colors in there. It's bright green. It's got that beautiful fresh tomatillo flavor to it as well. Top that with some cilantro. And that's it. That's the whole thing. Really, really simple. Again, we based this on the salsa verde that we made a few weeks ago, and I'll put a link for that here in the end card somewhere. And we hope you'll give this one a try. If you like this recipe, please do like and subscribe. And if you have any recipes you'd like to see Chef Caleb try on the channel, please let us know in the comments below. We'd like to thank all of our supporters over on Patreon. I'll put a link in the description below for that as well if you'd like to support us there. And remember to love your food.